Today I am joined by one of my favorite humans, my daughter Cassie. And she and I are going to talk about college life and pens. So what we're going to do is go over how she uses them and how she's found as far as like budgeting goes, what works best for her, and also how she journals and uses her planners as well. So Cassie, let's start with the Metropolitan.
Okay. Yeah.
So
this pen is bright green, so my favorite color is green. So naturally I was drawn to this pen. But also, as a college student, you're on a budget, you want a pen that writes nice, looks cute, for me personally looks cute, and is also budget friendly. So that's why I really like this pen, just for like an everyday use pen. And as a college student too, I'm writing all the time, so I need a pen that's able to withstand kind of, I guess, the constant writing stress. So I find that these pens work a lot better for me, these types of pens.
So I know that some kids don't really do a lot of writing. So how have you incorporated writing into your study process?
Yeah, so I use actually both technology and writing. I find that I remember things a lot better when I write them down, especially when you're in class and you want to get something jotted down super quickly. So the professor's talking fast. You don't necessarily always have time to type something up. I find my notes way more useful writing it down. I remember it better. And then later I might go back and try to use a PowerPoint or type something up. But yeah, I just remember things a lot better when I write them down. I mean, I think most people probably feel that way too.
I also forgot to discuss your major, so fill us in. I mean, I know your major.
Yes, so my major is, I'm getting my master's in environmental science, and I got my undergrad in biology. And that's kind of when I got introduced to the pen world.
Well, actually, before that.
But that's when I started using pens, I guess, more often. Because in college, you know, you're constantly taking notes, especially as a biology major. I was taking pages and pages and pages of notes. So having a good pen, it really kind of encouraged me to write, you know. It's kind of fun to write with a good, smooth pen. You kind of like it.
And then I took you to a pen show to help me, and you were hooked, right?
Yes, I was. I got my first vintage pen. It was so much fun. I loved it. Yeah, I really got hooked on it at the DC Pen Show. I think that was the one. So, yeah.
We had a good time, but we worked hard.
Yeah, it was fun.
So you also have times where you have to use a ballpoint or a roller ball, and you've gone through several of these, but let's talk about the Cross. It has good points and bad points.
Yeah, I like the Cross. This specific Cross, I'm not sure the model of this one.
It's called the Click.
The Click. So this one is kind of thin, so I find it really light and easy to write with. And yeah, it's really easy. It writes really smooth for a ballpoint pen.
No, it's a roller ball.
A roller ball pen. It writes really smooth for a roller ball pen. You know,
but it does take a ballpoint.
Yeah, it does.
So y'all know.
Either way, that's what I was kind of saying. But yeah, the only problem is if you're writing constantly, you will have to probably get a new pen after a while. I found that the click mechanism actually started to wear out. Now, these pens are not very expensive, so if you need a new one, it's not a huge deal. But yeah, I do like these pens because they're simple, but they write really smoothly.
So you can write fast.
Yeah, it's a good pen overall.
So it's the mechanism itself that you were wearing out, right?
Yeah, just clicking it. And, sometimes I'm one of those people that has the bad habit of clicking a pen back and forth when I have the option, so that probably didn't help. So I would say if you do use this pen, just be wary. Maybe don't, use it as your constant clicking pen. That might help a little bit. So, yeah.
And so when you're taking your notes, you typically use Rhodia paper?
Yes, I love my Rhodia paper. It's really thick. I can write on the front and the back, and I don't have to worry about it bleeding through so I can't see what I've
written. Because at one time you did do the lectern, but that was mainly for bullet journaling, right?
Yeah. I think I did, yeah. So that was good. I've transitioned from full-on making my own bullet journals to more of a planner/bullet journal, so it's all in one. I find for me that works better. I loved my bullet journal, but I really couldn't commit to constantly making the pages. While it was really fun and, good for me, I think a planner integrated with a bullet journal really works best for me because I can have all the things I need to get done, plus, some of the other aspects of a journal built in. So, yeah, I think the hybrid is best for me.
That's what I do too, is the hybrid. So when you first went off to grad school, part of what you started doing was trying to track some of your habits because you were having a few struggles as you transitioned into independence.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, it was a struggle. I think,
so being able to track some of your habits.
right, being able to see what I was getting done, also having a list like, okay, these are the 10 things I want to do today, or these are the most important things I want to get done today, and even if I can only get half of them done, my top priorities, I'll feel better. You can also list things in a bullet journal like other things besides productivity, like how you're feeling, about school, things
when
you
were
need to
having
get
trouble
done.
sleeping.
Right. You can do things like sleep. My sleep schedule is much better now, but yeah, it was important to know like what was triggering my inability to go to sleep, and I feel like writing things down, because at night you sit there and you may think, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this.
Your brain just couldn't.
If everything is already written down, your brain can kind of just relax and doesn't have to think about all those things you need to get done because they're already written down, so you won't forget them. So yeah, I think it definitely helped. Yeah, transitioning to college was definitely stressful at first. It definitely took some getting used to, not having parents around, but bullet journaling has helped a lot with that. Now I can kind of, do it when I need to do it, not necessarily constant every single day. So
right, because you're not just in school, you're also a GA and a TA.
Right, yeah.
Graduate assistant and a
there's
TS.
so much to do, so much to keep up with, and yeah, I find, maybe 2-3 times a week I can really invest in the bullet journal side of my planner, and the rest of the time it works as a, perfectly useful planner for me.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, this was something that you saw actually on, I think it was on Instagram, and
It may have been.
it was either Facebook or Instagram, and you said you needed it, and it was made by Sean Newton's wife, Elizabeth, from Newton Pens, and so green is your color.
Yes.
So I communicated with her and got it for you because you were away at school.
It's a great case. I love it.
And
it's
I know you have a
so
knock
unique.
too. But
I do, yeah.
this is one of a kind, and she had to have this one. It was like, this is it. So I communicated right away and obtained that. So greens, blues are kind of your thing. Mine too. Let's move on to another pen. The AL Star, commonly called the All Star from Lamy.
Yeah.
You have it in the nice deep blue, and then you are using Alma Iro.
Yes.
And your go-to ink is Iroshizuku in general.
I love their colors, their smoothness. They're definitely my favorite inks. I love them. Yeah. And in this pen, the Lamy, this is, like, by far, in my opinion, for the price, it is an incredibly smooth pen. I love writing with it. And that's really what made me like this pen. I mean, it's a very cute-looking pen, in my opinion, but really the way it writes, and I have a fine nib, is perfect. It's so smooth. It really makes you excited to write things down. I mean, it's nice. I like it. Yeah, and with the ink, the Iroshizuku, I'm drawn towards the blues. Somebody else might be drawn towards more of the purple, green colors. Those are also really fun, especially if you're just writing notes.
Well, you also have Yamabudo, which is a purpley color, purpley red, kind of pinkish purpley.
For notes, it's fun to have different colors, and then if you're filling out forms or something that needs to be official, there's also the blue and traditional colors. So I really like them.
So do you have any more tips for either the parents of the kids or kids who are interested in, mostly for the adults actually, give us a little bit of insight into how it works as far as like putting systems together and what the kids might like as far as like dots, lines. And you've made it pretty clear these two pens. She has more pens than just these.
Yes.
But we really wanted to focus on the things that were practical for people to get easily. So like we have this third tier. This pen came from Tim Pearson. Those people who go to pen shows will be cheering for him. She has probably 7 or 8 pens from him.
Yeah.
And then she has pens locals have gotten for her at pen shows. So you have a corn pen?
Yes, I do.
No, you have a corn pencil.
Yes. It's a little inside joke, pencil. But yes,
she used to do research on corn.
I really liked that. Yeah, it's hilarious.
So we have this little cute, inexpensive pen that you and I liked that has a Schmidt nib in it, and I have one exactly like it.
Yes, I like that one too.
But anyway, so these are practical beginner pens, and that's what we're really focused on. The great thing about the Safari and the All-Star both, so Safari is plastic, All-Star is metal, but they have nibs all the way from extra fine to a 1.9. So you can take this nib and put in an italic nib if you want to do a different project. She doesn't, but you can use it as a highlighter. Like you can take that wide nib and make it a highlighter if that's what you want to do. And you can use some permanent inks. We keep permanent inks here so that you can go back over things, or a student can.
Right.
And then this is a little bit more fine, just because it's a Japanese nib, but they do make this in a calligraphy nib as well. It's still a super thin line that you can use, and these come in, I think it's like 10 or 12 colors. So,
yeah, I remember them coming in several.
Turquoise, red, there's plenty of options. We didn't actually put her name on it, which is ironic, but we can put your name on either one of these pens, so we can personalize it. We can even use your online name, like Instagram, or just Snapchat people have names.
Yeah, usernames, your little
so you can use that too, because that's what they
and that's super helpful, especially in college, because you have to be weary of pen stealers, especially when you have a nice pen thieves. So if you have your name on it, less likely somebody else can steal it from you.
So also, I've discussed it with another college student, but do you keep spares for those times when people try to take a pen?
Of course. I definitely keep spares. When somebody needs to borrow a pen, I never lend them these. Okay, I always lend them something else that's just floating around in my backpack. Yeah, these are not the pens that strangers or other people in class get to use. I like them too much to part with them, so I would definitely say...
So they may be impressed, but you're going to turn around and hand them a Bic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm perfectly happy. I actually got one of my friends one of these pens because she noticed me writing with it and thought, that's so cool, I love that. So after she wrote with it for a minute, she fell in love with it, so I got her one. And, of course, that's a good way to get somebody into fountain pens. You know, they notice your cool pen, but I don't lend them out to strangers especially. You can't trust them in college for sure. So...
So you use, I can't remember what you use, unfortunately, lined, dot, or...
Yes, I use lined. I prefer lined. I can't write in a straight line if there's a blank page on there, so I definitely prefer lines. And I think for a college student, lined or dotted would be better, just because you're writing things down so quickly, you cannot trust yourself to write it down straight on a blank sheet of paper. Some people that are, really good may prefer that, but I just think for notes, jotting things down quickly... Dots or lines, way better. And I actually prefer the flip versus, the top flip, Rhodia, because it's easier for me to write, and turn the page. And I actually found that, spiral notebooks and things with binding on the side sometimes got stuck in my backpack.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
And so the top flip actually helped with that problem. So, that's kind of why I went towards that. But yeah, I think you should definitely find a pen that works for you. Make sure that the nib is smooth that you like, because it will definitely encourage you to write notes. For me, when you have a favorite pen, you can't wait to write with it. So what better way than when you're in college to write with it?
It's true. You can use it plenty.
Mm-hmm.
You take a lot of notes. So how many notes? How many pages do you go through a day?
A day, maybe on an average day, 5 or 6 pages.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but I'd say that's probably an average. And I think college students who want to write notes, they're probably looking at about 5 pages too. So, definitely pick a good paper so that you can write on front and back, because you definitely.
And I think you've gone through
that.
a couple of different brands, but you keep coming back to the Rhodia.
Yeah, I really prefer Rhodia. It's definitely my favorite paper.
Well, you guys, as usual, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment below. And I hope you've enjoyed the interview that I've done with my daughter today. I know I have. And, of course, she has a little bit more access to ink than you guys do, and she can dig through all the notebooks.
Yeah.
But feel free to find us online. Our address is venice1938.com. And you can also follow along with us on Instagram or on Twitter, and that's Venice1938. You can find us on Facebook as well. Sometimes we put the videos up on there as well. And we have a newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter through our website. If you have any other questions that you don't feel like that can be answered through commenting below, you can email us, or you can call us, or you can come to Little Rock, Arkansas, and you can find us at Pleasant Ridge West Town Center, and that's right here in Little Rock. We have some great restaurants nearby, and you can hang out with us and talk inks and pens all you'd want to. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.